In the Communicating Conservation to Citizens course, we spend a lot of time wrestling with the question, do they understand the information? But in today's lesson, we're going to spend time with two related questions. Do they trust the information? And do they even receive the information? We'll start with the good news. According to market research, Maryland residents describe a biologist with the Maryland Department of Natural Resources as their most trusted source of information about fish and wildlife and outdoor recreation. And this basic finding is corroborated by many other studies that find that Americans place more trust in the government, state and federal, for conservation information than most other sources. Not complete trust, but more trust. And who do Americans distrust? Well, with each passing year, it's the media. Americans' trust in the news media went off the cliff in 1980, and it has been dropping ever since. Despite that, Americans tell market researchers that they get more of their information about nature protection and pollution control from news media than from any other source. Let's revisit that. Everyday citizens trust you more than they trust the news media, but they get more conservation information from the news media than they get from you. At least, they used to. Welcome to the era of non-point source information, the Internet age. More and more channels, reaching smaller and smaller and smaller audiences. And the news media that has provided Maryland residents with most of their information about conservation is in serious trouble. The Baltimore Sun and the Annapolis Capital have been laying off journalists, and their future is very much in doubt. TV stations and radio news is in trouble too. 1 in 4 journalism jobs have disappeared since the start of this decade, and the pace of the layoffs is accelerating. Traditional news media is losing ground online as well. CNN.com was passed by the video site YouTube in early 2006. The New York Times.com was passed by the blog hosting site Blogger in early 2005. The AssociatedPress.org was passed by the popular online news service Digg in late 2005. And all of this adds up to a paradigm shift, a fundamental transformation in how we communicate conservation to citizens. In the old school, the conservation professionals would provide information to the reporter. The reporter would translate that information into plain English and distribute it to the everyday citizens. But in the new school, with each passing year, it falls to you to distribute the information to the everyday citizens themselves, yourself. And if you do it in a clear manner, they will feel confident enough to spread the information amongst themselves. So here are the takeaways from today's lessons. Citizens prefer information that is clear and credible. But if they have to choose, they get their information from the sources that are clear. If you provide those everyday citizens with the information that is clear, they will trust you more than they trust the news media or the interest groups. The decline of the news media creates new responsibilities for the Department of Natural Resources. It's up to you to get the word out to the citizens yourself. It's up to you to translate your professional shop talk into plain English that the residents understand. But this decline of the news media presents an opportunity for you as well, and it's the opportunity to provide information to citizens that they trust. Now that you've watched the video, here are the next steps. First, take the quiz. It's required. Then, join the forum. It's optional, but it's encouraged. Finally, browse through the extra materials that are available for you.